Hello everyone, welcome to HappierHour. We have started this podcast with an intention to discuss about mental and emotional issues. We'll be calling professionals like psychologist, psychiatrist and therapist on the show, and we'll be discussing about these issues in length. Today we have with us Kuntal Teli. She is a counseling psychologist with 16 years of experience. She is a certified clinical hypnotherapist. She works with adolescents and young adults. She is a psychologist for Heere College of Architecture and works for corporates. Welcome to the show, Kuntal. So, usual story of our movies is that दो प्यार में पागल लोग शादी करते हैं दुनिया से लड़ झगड़ के at times and उसके बाद शादी कर लेते हैं, बच्चे करते हैं, बच्चे हो जाते हैं तो जीवन एकदम मस्त क्योंकि सब कुछ मतलब बच्चा खुश है, तुम खुश हो, पूरी फैमिली खुश है. But is that the reality?
Sadly, no.
So what exactly happens? I mean, in terms of what is the reality around it? So when people get planned pregnancy, I think probably we'll start with when they plan pregnancy. What happens exactly after that? Emotionally, psychologically?
So even when the pregnancy is planned, you don't know what will happen to you while you're pregnant, right? Because see, you know that the time is right, both of you are financially doing well, things are well taken care of, you are there for each other. But what changes during pregnancy is the woman's body is regulated by her hormones, right? There are various hormones, first HCG, which basically starts producing only when you are pregnant, right? Which ensures that you have a healthy pregnancy. There is progesterone, there is estrogen, which is needed again to build up uterine walls so that your child develops normally. These hormones are needed by your body to maintain healthy pregnancy. But it also happens that you start experiencing nausea, vomiting, a lot of mood swings because suddenly there is a hormone which is produced by your body multifold, right? It regulates your mood. People start, people who have been pregnant, they tell you that they experience a lot of mood swings, right? They start crying without any reason. They feel triggered without any reason, right? So even a husband is not used to that kind of part.
I think crying is very normal because even for myself, I remember अगर किसी ने ज़रा सा भी कुछ कह दिया ना, I'll be like ऐसे छुई मुई जैसा फील हो रहा था मुझे उस टाइम तो.
So you're prepared, but you don't know what will happen to you once you're pregnant, right? So it's like a blind spot, and to sail through that, right? It is a difficult journey.
But इसमें और लोगों का क्या support है? Because women, she herself is anyways going through a lot of changes in her body and of course मतलब इतने सारे hormones develop हो रहे हैं और इतना over excessive dosage of hormones है body में. So आसपास के जो लोग हैं उनका क्या सहयोग रहता है या रहना चाहिए to make sure that the women is feeling happier or if not happier at least content.
So see, as a society, we have always believed that you should not express, right? If you're angry, निगल जाओ, compromise कर लो, right? But don't talk about your anger, don't express your anger, right? हम बच्चे को भी बोलते हैं ना, इतना गुस्सा करना अच्छी बात नहीं है, राइट? या तुम अभी माँ बन रही हो, इतना गुस्सा तुमको
नहीं और तुम करोगे तो बच्चों पे भी इम्पैक्ट आएगा,
इम्पैक्ट पड़ेगा. So as a society, we have always believed that not expressing your feeling is the best way to deal with it, right? Which is not true. So I think the first support that female needs is giving her a space. Not judging her behavior, because we always judge the behavior of the person, right?
Correct.
So one thing we need to keep in mind that anger, feeling sad is just like the tip of the iceberg. There is something deep within because of which there is anger. right? So be non-judgmental, giving them a space to express, somebody to talk to. Also, what we need, see, we cannot, we may not agree with what your partner is feeling, right? But what is needed is validating what she feels, right? That I understand, right? Or understand it's difficult for you right now. I see that you're feeling this way, rather than तुम्हें ये नहीं करना चाहिए, ये तुम कैसे कर सकते हो, right?
नहीं, और उस टाइम पे तो बहुत ज़्यादा वैसा भी होता है ना, a lot of people start giving you a lot of their experiences. हमारे टाइम तो हमें ऐसा नहीं फील हुआ, ये तो ओवर रिएक्ट कर रही है
आजकल की लड़कियाँ.
हाँ, आजकल की लड़कियाँ. And you are more lost, right? Because I mean, you are like, till now I was independent, I knew what I was doing, and suddenly there's so many opinions on me.
Exactly, right? I would like to share my experience over here. So as a girl, I was like too ambitious, right? Want to achieve this, I want to achieve that, working too hard. And just at that time when I felt that, all the years of hard work is falling into place, and I got pregnant, right? Though I was happy about the pregnancy, but what I also got along with pregnancy is good bed rest, right? And I would cry for hours and hours, because I thought that, okay, this was the perfect time that, everything was falling into place. And I had never been at home. I was never ever at home. So first time sitting at home and doing nothing, it's
overwhelming.
Yeah. And everybody was like, oh, you aren't happy that you're pregnant, you should be happy, how can you cry? I was like, okay, I am going through something, right? But luckily my husband, my mother, they were there to tell me that, okay, they kind of gave me the space to cry, and that really helped, right?
And also I think उस time पे, like you said, फीलिंग्स इतनी सारी एक साथ अलग अलग आ रही होती है. मतलब वो रोना भी आ रहा है, बट तुम खुश भी हो, बट तुम नर्वस भी हो, बट फियर भी फील हो रहा है, एक ये भी लगता है कि करियर का पता नहीं क्या होने वाला है. सो आई थिंक ऑल ऑफ इट, एंड बॉडी इज गोइंग थ्रू अ लॉट ऑफ चेंज एज वेल, राइट? सो इट्स सो मच फॉर अ पर्सन टू रियली प्रोसेस एट
100%.
one point of time.
It becomes very difficult. So you need somebody who's non-judgmental, especially in your family. It's okay to cry, right?
Yeah.
I think it's okay to cry, and we all should, give that space to our loved ones, not judging their choices, right? And of course, there are a lot of things that help. One thing that really helped me, I went back to the studies of Buddhism that I had picked up once upon a time, which talks about everything is temporary in nature, right? And that really helped me. That this is just
and I think after going through it, we also realize it is temporary. क्योंकि जब मैं pregnant थी, I remember ऐसा लग रहा था ये जिंदगी भर की है pregnancy, मैं जिंदगी भर pregnant रहने वाली हूँ. But of course, I didn't remain pregnant forever. So, I think you're right. It is temporary.
Exactly. Second thing, what helped me when I just, analyzed my situation and analyzed myself, I felt that I believed that my identity comes from being a psychologist, right? But I realized when I analyzed that, it's just a part of it. It definitely gives me identity. It definitely plays a major role in my life. But being a psychologist only is not my identity.
Yeah.
Right? And that really helped me calm myself down. So,
but I mean, you said that people, they should have a good support system around them, right? That they have other people who can really tell them it's okay to cry, it's okay to feel what you're feeling. But then we do have a lot of women who do not have that luxury, I would say, because this is a luxury that you are left on your own in a way. So what should such women do?
I think attending parenting classes is a wonderful idea. Because see, just like we are becoming mothers for the first time, even he is becoming a father for the first time, right? He would have never handled such situations, right? So attending something like a parenting class where we are taught about what is to be expected when you are pregnant, that really helps. So talking or connecting to friends, and especially like I had a parenting group, right, where there were a lot of females and we spoke to each other, that so we know what is to be expected. So that really helps, right? Talking to your friends, writing a journal, something like that is helpful. So in parenting classes we are also taught different kinds of meditation, right, or music to calm yourself. They talk about anxiety. How do you handle your anxiety, right? What to do when you're feeling overwhelmed. When we learn all these techniques, it really helps you sail through the pregnancy. We practice a lot of music therapy, right? While I was pregnant, it really helped. It really helped
you to calm down. Yeah. And I mean, what about the expectation? So I mean, now we say कि लड़के लड़की में फ़र्क नहीं है, right? But I think जब बच्चा होने वाला होता है ना, तब सबको समझ आता है कि नहीं, चाहिए तो लड़का ही है. I don't know. It's somewhere there, right? So I mean, I don't understand why it happens, but at least that is something that I noticed, that otherwise you are saying लड़की लड़का सेम है. आजकल तो लड़कियां भी वही करती हैं जो लड़के करते हैं. लड़के कौन सा साथ में रहते हैं. बट हाँ, यू आर प्रेग्नेंट एंड देन यू लाइक लड़का ही होगा. मतलब एवरीवन कम्स एंड सीज यू एंड दे लाइक लड़का ही होगा, लड़का.
Yes, I do agree that there are certain parts of India which still believes in that. But at least in metro cities, we do see that people are open to welcome both the genders.
Yeah.
But yes, I do understand, because I do see a client, you know what, the subconscious mind of the kid starts developing right when it is in the mother's womb, right? And there are so many studies which are done, what you experience when you were in your mother's womb, how how your belief systems change, right? So,
but are you saying if the mother was not happy while she was pregnant, it does impact the kid?
It does, right? It does. So state of the mother is really very important, right? So I won't say that mothers have to be happy, but we understand that there are hormones playing a big role, right? Then you find that there is nobody to support you, right? So you need to adopt, you need to learn, you need to experiment with things which will help you calm down, right?
And I think इसके बारे में थोड़ा बात भी करना चाहिए, क्योंकि I mean, again, with pregnancy, at least my experience was, everyone said it's a good thing. It is a good thing, okay? I'm very happy to be a mother. But वो जो phase होता है ना, in that phase, you need to understand you are going through a lot, and it's okay for you to go through all of it. But people don't talk about it. Like even my own cousins who had kids, they never told me about it. So it was like, होता है ये तो सबके साथ ही होता है. हाँ, बट मुझे ऐसा लग रहा था कि नहीं, ये तो मेरे साथ ही हो रहा है, क्योंकि ये बाकी सब लोग कह रहे हैं कि इनके साथ तो नहीं हुआ
था. In fact, you won't believe, you know what happened with me after I delivered. We are going to talk about postpartum. One of my cousin had been visiting us at that time. He stays in US. He had come, and I was experiencing a lot of things because in the 7th month of my pregnancy, I lost my father. And at that time everybody said that don't cry, बच्चे पे क्या असर होगा, right? And I tried real hard not to cry, because you also see your mother grieving, right? And so there was so much of grief around. I did not cry the way I wanted to. I did not grieve the way I wanted to. When I delivered, I actually went numb. I had no feelings at all. I was like absent-minded. I don't know what to feel, right? So then my cousin came visiting, and my bhabhi, who had just delivered a year back, you know, she just sat with me and she just told me that I understand, you know, what you are experiencing. It is very difficult for you. She taught me, chalo, let's, you know, burp the baby, right? You know, let me teach you how do I give my kid, you know, burp time or tummy time. She really taught me that. And I felt so good because she normalized it, right? In a very empathetic way, right? That is what we need. We need empathy at that time, right? We all experience emotions, but telling that you cannot feel that, it is wrong to feel that, you are a mother, how can you feel that? Versus normalizing that I understand, you know, it is so difficult for you. I also experience it. You know, let us do this. Can I help you?
How much time did it take for you to really come?
I had one, I told you, like for 20 days I was experiencing this absolutely feeling numb, not having any feelings. Of course I love my baby, but I was in the phase, I don't know what to feel, right? And then went on to the other extreme where I would cry. I would cry and I would cry because then there was a marriage in the house and I could not participate. I cannot dress up, nothing fits me. Oh, I would have put on so many kgs and, you know, I look so shabby, I look so bad. I am sleep deprived, and then I cry and cry and cry. So at least then, you know, after 45 days I started going out for a walk, started connecting with people and
feeling a little normal.
But
I mean, in your case, of course, I mean, grief was a big part of it, but do you think postpartum depression was also a part of the entire gamut? Because I think we don't talk about it, but a lot of women do go through postpartum depression.
Yes. See, I told you initially that we have hormones like progesterone and estrogen, which helps you maintain a healthy pregnancy. Understand one thing, your body is very wise. It knows what to produce when, right? So just when the baby is out, your body realizes कि अभी estrogen, progesterone का कुछ काम नहीं है, right? So it drops drastically.
Okay.
Right? And this shift leads to the postpartum, you know, sudden.
But then are you saying actually most of the women go through postpartum anxiety, if not depression?
Postpartum blues is also a thing, right? Because there is, see, everybody is very different, right? It is not necessary everybody goes through postpartum blues, postpartum depression, but because of there is the sudden change, sudden drop, you undergo a lot of change. See, your body has also undergone the trauma of, you know, delivering the baby. It has gone through serious pain, right? You cannot expect the person to be absolutely normal within 2-3 hours or 2-3 days. It takes some time for your body to get back to normal. And then prolactin, which helps the mother lactate, right? That starts producing, oxytocin starts producing. So there is a lot of changes that is happening in your body.
But is it like, you know, we ourselves also put a lot of pressure on ourselves to be perfect in a way?
Exactly.
Because now when you say that, I remember that, you know, I was, as soon as I delivered, I was like, यार यूरोप में और यूएस में तो सब लोग एकदम नेक्स्ट डे दे आर लाइक
सेवेंथ डे पे वो लोग तो
सेवेंथ
निकल
भी नहीं,
जाते
अगले
हैं,
दिन ही मतलब दे आर आउट ऑफ हॉस्पिटल, खुद ही वॉक करके जा रहे हैं, दे आर डूइंग एवरीथिंग देमसेल्व्स एंड मतलब वी आर नॉट एबल टू डू इट. ये क्या है, मतलब हमारी बॉडी कुछ अलग थोड़ी ना है.
एंड देन वी सी स्टार्स राइट ऑन आफ्टर डिलीवरिंग,
यस, एंड उनकी बॉडी प्रॉपर एकदम मतलब लाइक दे नेवर हैड अ बेबी.
Yes, so it definitely puts a lot of pressure, right? And how many women, let's talk about our country, how many women can afford that luxury?
True.
Right? Not all of us can, right? Everybody has been through a different journey. There are some who are undergoing postpartum depression or postpartum blues. There are people who bounce back. Everybody's life, everybody's support system, everything is different, right? Like,
but how does postpartum blues or depression look like?
Okay, so we all have a window of tolerance, right? So what does window of tolerance mean? How much of pain, or how much of
adversity
you can deal with.
take.
If the situation goes beyond your window of tolerance, there is either hyperarousal, where people are over flooded with emotions, they might be angry, right, and either you go to a hypoarousal, as in feeling disconnected, feeling numb, feeling lifeless. BP low ho jata hai to kaisa lagta hai, right, that you are you don't know where you belong to, right? So it does happen that either you are hyperaroused or you are hypoaroused. Postpartum depression mein at times females feel that they feel nothing for the baby. At times some females also experience hallucinations, psychosis. Yes, when it goes to an extreme,
yeah.
right? Postpartum depression may look like when you're crying too much, when you're feeling too much, when you feel like harming yourself. You would have heard of so many cases where the mothers have harmed their babies, right? That is also the part of postpartum depression. But for most of the time, you feel sad, you feel angry,
you feel lifeless.
You feel numb, right? So one important thing, we only react to people who are expressing anger and sadness, right? People who don't express are brave.
Correct.
So you know what, I would like to share this one experience I have had. As I told you, right, after my pregnancy, I just went numb, not feeling anything at all. People understood that I'm
wow, ये तो मतलब अच्छे से मैनेज कर रही है एकदम.
कितना अच्छे से मैनेज कर रही है, right? And next year in the family there was another baby, and this mother was overwhelmed, always crying, right? Mood swings आ जाना, which was a postpartum thing. But what did the family tell? You should learn something from Kuntal. She was so brave.
I know. ये तो मतलब बहुत ही कॉमन है कि अगर किसी ने भी जरा सा रोया या कुछ, यार उसके में तो नहीं हुआ था. हमारे टाइम पे तो नहीं होता था. ये तो ये भी बहुत हमारे टाइम पे
वीक हो, right? And the person is already feeling bad about the way she is expressing, or and then you put that, okay, she was brave and you are not. What people don't understand, it's hormones, right? It's not her, it's hormones. It's the postpartum depression, right? And when it is unhealed, right, when you don't take care of postpartum, it aggravates more.
Is it?
Yes, sometimes.
And how long can it stay?
So see, your body generally takes 6 weeks to get back to normal.
Okay.
Right? Sometimes it doesn't. That doesn't mean you're absolutely fine after 1.5, but it generally gets back to normal in 1.5 months. If it doesn't, if you still feel really very anxious, if you still feel, really depressed or any symptoms of depression, then you need to talk to a doctor, right, who will help you. Right.
But इसमें इस चीज़ का क्या impact है? अब जैसे again, I think not a lot of people talk about it, but after delivering the baby, the relationship changes, like relationship within the couple and also around you, because मतलब everyone is more concerned about the baby than the mother, right? बच्चा कैसा है, मतलब माँ को कोई नहीं देख रहा है.
माँ को कोई नहीं देखता है.
हर किसी को बच्चा देखना है. Even mother wants कि हाँ उसको प्यार मिले. It's not that you don't want the kid to get all that love, but I think it changes, right? The dynamics of it changes.
100%. So, when my kid was born, everybody would get gifts for the kid, and I love that you love my kid. But then my husband's friend had visited us, and she got a gift for me.
Oh, nice.
Right? And she told that, बच्चे को तो हर कोई देखता है, माँ को कोई नहीं देखता. I was like, okay, so
किसी को तो समझा.
किसी को तो समझा. And my husband was like, okay, even I did not think about this, that wife also needs to you need to make her feel special.
Correct.
Right? So that was the wonderful thing that happened at that time. Yes, but in a bigger picture, yes, सबकी priorities भी change हो जाती हैं. You have a kid to take care of, feeding problems, you're not sleeping well. Of course, when you're not sleeping well, when you are not taking care of yourself, you become too moody. You become snappy at times, right?
Yeah.
This leads to miscommunication. And once you're not communicating well, there is a distance that bound.
And also I think typically, India mein chalo, thank God for working women now, maternity leave is for 6 months, right? But for men, they are going to office, right? So for them, there is a cutoff, right? They leave home, so they are not really in home, they're not taking care of the baby. They go to office, work, come back. So in a way, there's a mental cutoff. But for women, those 6 months, it's like you are with the baby entire time.
And hence we say that, when you are planning to become parents, plan out your things very well. Be prepared that ऐसा होगा, right? We need to be prepared. Also, our body needs some rest. So don't feel guilty about taking rest, right? This is one thing that I usually talk to about people going through postpartum blues, or when they come because intimate life जो भी है वो affect हो गई है, right? We pay a lot of attention to mothers, right? But who pays attention to the fathers? Right?
ये भी है.
वो भी तो बाप बना है, right? The person who was carefree has started becoming more responsible. The person who was just earning ki like, okay, life chalani hai, now he has started taking responsibility. You realize that men too are putting a lot of efforts.
Correct.
Right? And hence they are also spending longer hours. Right? ये भी होता है कि miscommunication इतना होता है that लोग दूर भी रहने लगते हैं. So sometimes we appreciate the mothers for bringing the baby, for taking care of the babies. But we don't appreciate the fathers a lot, right? At least in my circle that I see, my families, I see that there are a lot of fathers who have been really proactive in taking care of the baby,
kid,
right? They don't shy away. Like I remember my time, I don't think my father would have changed any diapers.
Of course,
but I've seen everybody, right from my husband, my brothers, they take a lot of proactive, they are really very proactive in taking care of the baby. So I think we as wives also need to appreciate that. And that is where I also feel
that's a very good perspective, because you're right. I mean, men, their life has changed too.
Exactly.
And it's like, there's an additional responsibility on them. They need to take care of the family.
And we are also not paying them attention, right? Because our priorities have changed. Our
I mean, we are concerned about ourselves as well, right? हमारे career का क्या होगा, अब क्या होगा, body का क्या होगा, मतलब we have put on so much of weight, वो कैसे जाएगा,
So, and one thing that also happens, this is how the nature works. When a mother delivers the baby, naturally there have been studies to prove that the testosterone level in males drop down too. Right, at least for 5-6 months. So there is low libido, so there is no intimacy. Again, that acts like a barrier in intimacy between the couple. Right?
Yeah, and I think it sounds very natural, because probably nature wants everyone to take care of the kid.
Everybody wants to take care. It's like, तुम पहले बच्चे का ध्यान रखो, right? Mothers then take rest. Fathers
take care of the family.
Take care of the family, and that is the time where we are not talking only about sex, but what helps is lot of intimate time, right? That is if you have good intimacy when it comes to intimacy, also includes a lot of emotional support. It also talks about a lot of spending time together. It is also cuddling together. It is, it goes just beyond sex, right? And once you have developed, I think there is a relationship which evolves.
But actually there are studies which says that the number of divorces actually increases a lot after you have delivered a baby.
See, we are a generation of quick fixes.
Yeah.
Nobody,
That is true.
see, solving anything takes efforts and time. One, we are already stressed due to a lot of work that we do, right? घर पे जाके relationship को भी solve करना है, कौन करेगा इतना मेहनत? We are a generation of quick fixes because to resolve, to work on anything, it is going to take a lot of efforts. So generally लोग क्या prefer करते हैं? Affairs outside, that's the easier thing.
Yeah, I
right?
think that increases a lot as well
Right.
after.
Netflix, right? Spending time on phones, going out with friends, that is more preferable over
compared to
coming
resolving
home, resolving things. And also when there is a
But then
distance,
resolving में वैसा भी होता है ना कि when the women wants to resolve, the man is not ready.
Yeah.
They are like अभी नहीं सुनना है मुझे, मैं वैसे ही बहुत सुन के आया हूँ.
Exactly.
So right now I don't want to hear anything else. So I think वो भी बहुत play करता है कि when you are in a mood to resolve that relationship, the other
person is not.
Yeah.
Right? So hence preparing yourself कि ऐसा time आएगा, what are we going to do, right? So इंडिया में ना बहुत लोग सजेशन देते हैं कि आपका रिलेशनशिप ठीक नहीं चल रहा है, बच्चा लाओ, सब प्रॉब्लम हो.
मतलब ये तो सबसे कॉमन है.
It's a magic pill.
जबकि ये ऑपोजिट है, राइट? मतलब
Exactly.
आई थिंक जब तक रिलेशनशिप रिजॉल्व नहीं हो रहा ना,
बच्चा
डोंट गेट
get
किड
that
इनटू द
kid.
पिक्चर.
Right.
क्योंकि बच्चा पालना बहुत बहुत डिफिकल्ट टास्क है. मतलब यू नीड टू बी अलाइंड, यू नीड टू बी अ टीम
Exactly.
टू रियली, मतलब इमोशनली हेल्दी हो बच्चा, खुश हो बच्चा, उसके लिए यू नीड टू बी टुगेदर.
The bacha doesn't need only roti kapda makan, right? They need parents, right, who are emotionally healthy, who have a good relationship, right? Who the kids need to have a strong foundation, right?
और पहले वैसा भी होता ना, बच्चे इतने होते थे कि मतलब जैसे मेरी दादी शी हैड 8 किड्स, राइट? चलो मेरे मॉम डैड के 2 ही थे, बट माई दादी हैड लाइक 8 किड्स. और उनसे मतलब ऑफ कोर्स तब तो बच्चे थे, ऐसी कोई बात नहीं करी, बट शी यूज्ड टू से पल गए,
बड़ा बच्चा छोटे वाले को संभाल लेता है.
मतलब काम था बस बच्चे पैदा करना, उसके बाद पल गए. बट आई थिंक नाउ दैट्स नॉट द केस. बच्चे पलते नहीं है, मतलब बहुत एफर्ट जाता है, क्योंकि एनीवेज यू आर हैविंग 1 or 2 किड्स.
यस. एंड वो ज़माने में क्या होता था, कोई डिवोर्स और वो नहीं लेता था, बिकॉज ऑफ इट बीइंग कंसिडर्ड टू बी अ टैबू. साथ निकल जाते थे, राइट? बट नाउ इट इज़ नॉट द केस, राइट? नाउ वी नीड अ strong relationship to survive as a couple. You need a strong foundation to survive well as a couple, right? And if you are bringing a kid when your relationship is not right, how are you going to function as a team?
Correct. And I think what you said, हमारा social fabric has changed a lot from our dadi's time to mummy's time to our time. क्योंकि दादी के टाइम पे पूरा गांव साथ में था. मतलब किसका बच्चा किसके घर में किसी को नहीं पता था. मतलब एंड दे डिडंट, नॉट आई वुडंट से केयर, बट वो वैसा ही चलता था कि आपका बच्चा पड़ोसी के घर पे भी है तो चलेगा. फिर एटलीस्ट व्हाट आई सॉ इन माय हाउस, वी वर अ जॉइंट फैमिली, तो मतलब सब इतने सारे बच्चे साथ में थे, मेरे चाचा ताऊ वगैरह के सबके बच्चे हम साथ में ही पले बड़े हैं. तो अगेन मतलब वो प्रेशर कम था. बट नाउ वी आर न्यूक्लियर फैमिलीज, मतलब सिर्फ कपल साथ में रह रहा है. तो अगर उसमें भी यू are not aligned, and then you have a kid, I think it's
and also now it demands a lot of care, lot of attention, lot of efforts also, right? Because एक ही बच्चा है या 2 ही बच्चे हैं, they will need that attention from you, know.
हाँ, पहले उनका भी split था कि वो सबके पास जा रहे हैं, they're talking,
because they had kids of different age to connect to. Now you are the primary person there at home, right? So nowadays we do see fathers, earlier पेरेंट्स को पता भी नहीं होता था कि बच्चा कौन से स्टैंडर्ड में है, या बच्चे का इंटरेस्ट क्या है, लाइक्स क्या है. वो लोग खाली पूछते थे. लॉट ऑफ माय क्लाइंट्स आल्सो से दैट पापा के साथ क्या कनेक्शन था, ये कितना मार्क्स आया, कम आया तो ये क्यों आया. now we see fathers who are, you know, taking a lot of responsibility, connecting. They take a lot of efforts to connect with the kids, have conversations with them.
Yeah, and that's so nice to hear
Yeah,
because
exactly.
I mean, in my case, I experience it as well. My husband, I would say, he takes care of the kid much more than I do.
Yeah.
मतलब मैं थोड़ा वैसे हूँ कि अरे करियर बनाना है
Yeah.
he is also, but he's more like, you know, he takes care of the
Yes.
kid more as compared to
Yes.
me, and I think, yeah, probably that is changing. The fathers are taking
Yeah.
bigger responsibility of taking care of the
Taking
kids.
care of the kids. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, that's a very refreshing change, and it's a welcome
100%,
change, definitely.
100%. So yeah, when we are talking about the relationship, when your foundation is right, when you are prepared कि ऐसा एक phase आएगा, you sail through it because you are communicating.
Correct.
Right? You are talking to your partner. You are building on intimacy. See, anyways,
And when you say building on intimacy, so exactly, you know, what will be 3-4 small things a couple should do to make sure that they are not drifting apart?
right, communication is the first and the most important thing, right? Second is spending some time together, right? It is really very important. See, we cannot expect कि पहले के जैसा होगा. 15 minutes का भी आपको अगर time मिलता है, that is good enough.
हाँ, क्योंकि आई थिंक उस टाइम पे टाइम नहीं मिलता है बिल्कुल.
Time
राइट,
नहीं
यू
मिलता
बोथ ऑफ यू आर स्लीप डिप्राइव्ड. 6 महीने तक तो बच्चा पूरी रात जगेगा,
Right.
पूरा दिन सोएगा, सो यू आर स्लीप डिप्राइव्ड,
Right.
राइट. यू डोंट हैव टाइम फॉर योरसेल्फ, you don't have time for Netflix, OTT, anything. You don't have
Right.
time. मतलब हाँ, it is a big thing to take out like 15 minutes for
Right.
someone.
Right.
But yeah,
And one thing, you know, what is also important is we need to understand one thing, right? आज का ज़माना कैसा है ना, हम सबको equal होना है, right? But as per my experience, you cannot be equal at the same time. There would be some time where the other person is in front and the other person supports that person.
what do you mean when you say that?
So, see, there would be times where I am facing hardships, when I am not able to bring the balance. That's the time my husband supports me, and when the husband is down, I support him, you know.
Yeah.
For example, right now this month looks very busy for me, the other person comes and pitches in, right? This month is terrible for him, he has undergone some challenges, I pitch in, right? So it's not like,
Yeah.
there will be
Help
times, right? We know many a times we undergo depression, there are some financial setbacks, job losses,
Correct.
right? We can't expect that person to play that equal role, right? I think the couple who pitches in, you know, backs each other, they sail through it well. At that time, the husband needs to understand, right, that they need to pitch in. They need to be helpful, right?
Correct.
I think when the husband takes care of that, I think you sail through. If you acknowledge each other's efforts, because that is what we don't do. We always
Yeah,
say
I
the things
think,
that are
yeah.
not done, but we don't talk about things that are done,
Yes.
right? So
Yeah.
small acknowledgements, right? And you have to sail through it together. See, a lot of couples I have seen who break down during the kid wala phase. So there was this couple, you know, the wife was really very upset because he used to go to the office and he used to sleep in the other room. So, right?
I think that
how
happens
can-
often as
How
well.
can he sleep in the other room,
Yeah.
right? How can he not sleep with me because उसको तो fresh उठ के जाना है.
Correct.
So that really made her feel very angry and rejected, right? So clear communication has to be there. I need to offer space. You know, we need to give that space to each other to talk about it. But the wife did not talk about it, that she was feeling so rejected, so angry, right? So I think you know your partner well,
क्योंकि I think उस
understand
time
what
पे-
are the needs.
Yeah, but I think
Right.
उस time पे women really needs her husband to be around,
Exactly.
not other people around. Other people are there, very good. It is
Yes.
a complementary thing, but you know, you really
Yes.
need your husband around
Yes.
to just take care of you and the kid.
And the kid,
Yeah.
right? So, and I think we should not shy away from talking about our needs.
Correct.
Right? So sharing does not make you feel, I mean, sharing is not being vulnerable, at least in between a couple. Asking for something should not make you feel vulnerable.
Correct. Yeah, I think that is very important, that you should not feel judged about it.
Yes.
You should be okay to talk about your needs.
Exactly.
That, okay, this is how I feel right now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And yes, you know, a lot of touch, a lot of caring moments, right? Both the sides, right?
Correct.
Not only the husband is also suffering, right?
Yeah.
Just like you lost something, the husband has also lost, right? He is not having the partner the way he is used to having.
No, you're right. I mean, in terms of the change in dynamics, you're right. The dynamics has changed for the father as well. It's not only the mother; it's father as well. There's a new person who's come, and you have to just take care of that new person, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, because I think for kids, initial 2-3 months, it's just giving.
Right.
It's not even a smile back. It's just giving.
And trust me, it doesn't start only after pregnancy, right? Then there are certain practices which a couple can follow right when the time they are pregnant.
Okay.
Right? Like talking to the baby. It's a wonderful way to connect to the baby.
Oh,
right? There are so many studies, and personally experiencing too, that when the father connects with the baby, when the baby is in the womb, it helps you develop that connection.
Kind of bond.
Right? So taking care of the wife, massages, or simple little things, it helps you connect with the baby. The baby recognizes the father's touch, mother's touch.
So basically you're saying it's not only the mental health of the women, but the couple, which really impacts the overall growth of the baby even inside the womb, and maybe his mental growth as well.
Yes. So the mental makeup of the person, of the kid, develops right from the time the kid is in the womb. Right? As I was discussing earlier, the subconscious mind of the kid starts developing when it is in the womb. So there have been studies where, if the kid was unwanted, right, when the parents were not really very happy, when they got pregnant, they kind of are, innately, they have this belief that they are unwanted, they are not important. There are so many studies done to prove that, right? So the mental makeup, so when the father and the mother talks to the kid, when they connect with the kid, right, when they sing to the kid. So like, I used to hear a lot of mantras and all while I was pregnant with my first one. And whenever, right from the day he was born, right, whenever he cried and I sang that mantra, and the baby would start saying, okay, I know this.
I know this one.
I know this. The baby recognizes the voice of the father. So generally क्या होता है, हमें ऐसा लगता है कि बेबी खाली मम्मा के साथ comfortable होता है, but when there is a bond, right, which is there between the father and the kid is also comfortable with the father. There have been so many studies that are done to prove. For example, if the kid was an unwanted child, right, there have been studies to prove that later on in the life, right, the mental makeup is such that the kid will end up feeling unwanted, rejected. No matter, sometimes things change, right? Parents kind of accept the kid, but still the kid feels unwanted because something has happened during the time.
I have a very close friend of mine. So recently I was speaking to her, and she also told me that she has elder brothers and sisters, and her parents wanted a boy, and that's why they had a pregnancy, and then she was a girl. She was like, nobody has ever said it on my face, but I always know that I was not the wanted one.
Yes.
And now she's I think, in my opinion, she overcompensates for it. She does a lot of things for her parents. Not that she's expecting anything from them, but yeah, I think maybe
That's
it comes
the way
from
she's
that.
just trying to feel secure.
Maybe.
Oh, feeling just wanted,
Yeah.
right? Feeling accepted. That is how things change, right? That is how subconsciously the kid is designed.
But then, it is a harsh reality, but we do have the reality of single mothers,
Yeah.
right? I mean, sometimes, the couple, they're not happy together, or, the child happened. What should such mothers do to make sure that, they are happy and they're during the process of pregnancy and also after pregnancy?
Seeking
Delivery.
right support, right? A good support system helps in the long run, right? See, as a single mother, you would be overdoing things. You would be a lot more tired, lot more responsible, handling or juggling both the things, right? So you are overstimulated, very, very tired. Also, you are very lonely,
Yeah.
right? You are dealing with your own harsh reality, tough situation, but you're just trying to be brave for that kid.
Yeah.
Right? You have to show him a brave face, right? You don't want him to see that you are so broken, right? So you don't express. You're just living in that survival mode, right? You're doing, and then it starts showing up on your body.
It does.
It does,
Yeah.
right? Aches, pain, migraines, obesity, cancer, right? A lot many things are result of our unprocessed emotions, right? So if you are a single mother, seek social support, seek help, have some time for yourself, right? It's okay not to overdo things. Do things, but not at the cost of your health, right? Connecting with your kids, not poisoning them about the other parent, right? Co-parenting if possible, right? I think also those things help, that the mother has to take care of herself too.
And
So
also
don't just think that you are
yeah.
a mother, you are a human being too. And I think it helps when the mothers, or as parents, if we are open to our kids about emotions,
Yeah.
right?
I think they understand emotions.
They understand emotions very well. If I'm angry, tell your kid that, I was feeling angry, I was not able, like recently I was really like angry and I blasted out. My kid was like, why were you so angry? And I told him that, for a long time I was not opening up, I was bottling up things inside, and this is what happened, I shouted. Okay? So kids need to understand that we are humans, we all have emotions. Even if she is my mother, she can be angry, she can be tired, she can be overstimulated. And they start understanding.
Correct. क्योंकि आई थिंक ये भी एक अनसेड एक्सपेक्टेशन है कि माँ है तो
माँ तो
मतलब
सब
इसको
कुछ
कुछ
करती
नहीं
है।
होगा मतलब शी कांट एंग्री तो खैर रहती हैं, सबकी माएँ रहती हैं
it is they are overstimulated.
Yeah.
You are doing a lot of things,
Correct.
इसका होमवर्क कराओ, इसका ये कराओ, you have so many responsibilities, ऊपर से बॉस ये कर रहा है, आपका कुछ सबमिट नहीं किया है, ये है वो है, elders in the house. You are doing a lot of things, so it's not that you don't like your kids or you are angry, you are overstimulated because you just don't have time and space to process. So hence, very important that we indulge into some activities that helps us,
और एक वैसा भी है जैसे एक बच्चे के लिए मैं माँ हूँ, ऑफिस जाती हूँ तो मैं बॉस के लिए आई एम एन एम्प्लॉई, फिर फॉर माई हस्बैंड आई एम अ वाइफ, फॉर समवन आई एम समथिंग, फॉर माई पेरेंट्स आई एम अ डॉटर. सो मतलब जब मैं अलग अलग रिश्तों में हो तो मैं अलग अलग हूँ, सबको लगता है 100% दें, बट इन रियलिटीज आई एम वन ह्यूमन बीइंग.
एंड पता है सोसाइटी कैसी है, लाइक ड्यूरिंग कोविड आई वाज रियली वेरी एंग्री. मतलब माँ को सल्यूट करते हुए एक ये इमेज सर्कुलेट हो रहा था कि माँ को ऑक्सीजन सिलेंडर से लगाया गया है. उसका किचन लाइक देयर इज दिस बेड और यहाँ पे किचन का ये है, राइट. वो माँ ऑक्सीजन सिलेंडर से या तो कुछ तो लगाया, आईवी लगा है और वो खाना बना रही है. और ये लिखा है कि इट वाज लाइक कि ये तो सिर्फ माँ ही कर सकती है. सो इट इज टेलिंग यू दैट यू आर अ मदर, तो ये तो करना ही है. अगर तुम ये नहीं करते तो तुम माँ कैसी माँ हो, दैट यू आर नॉट डूइंग. सो देयर इज सो मच ऑफ प्रेशर टू बी परफेक्ट, टू बी योर प्रोवाइडर, टू टेक केयर. मतलब तुम खुद की केयर मत लो, बट यू नीड टू टेक केयर. सो this is how the society expect us to be, that even if you are unwell, correct, you have to cook. Even if emotionally you are shattered, broken, but you have to be brave and there for your
but kid. I mean, say for example, if I don't do that, okay, I really take care of myself, isn't there a guilt that I am not a good enough mother?
So I am not saying that you have to take care only of yourself, but most mothers, they don't include in their regime is self care.
But वो तो selfish होता है ना.
That is
if you are caring about yourself, you are selfish. तो वो कैसे कर सकते हैं, मतलब वो तो
taking care of yourself is not selfish, right? And that is what we mothers need to unlearn and learn to take care, right? Like, if you would you want to be a mother who is overstimulated, or you want to be a mother who is calm?
Of course I want to be calm.
Exactly. Then how would you be calm?
Even the relationship is much different, right? If you are a overstimulated mother, तुम पूरे टाइम तो चीख चिल्ला रहे हो बच्चे पर, बच्चा भी बेचारा इधर से उधर भाग रहा है बस. And मतलब the kid is actually scared of you.
Yes.
They don't want to be in front of you. But if you are a relaxed mother, I think the kid wants to be with you. And the kind of conversation that you have with your kid, it's very different in these two situations.
And we are the kids' first role models, right? If we are taking care of ourselves, it is what we are telling them that, look dude, दुनिया चलती रहेगी, right? But you are supposed to take care of yourself, right? You need to be healthy to create a healthy environment, right? If mother is also into self-care, you will realize that the kids who are born are like very independent. They are very supportive. They are respectful because they understand that just like me, the other person also need that space. Right? So it is not being selfish, but it is important to create a healthy environment and a healthy life for everyone.
Yeah, and I think it's
because
important.
In our society, working mothers are also kind of judged a lot. How can you work? How can you work? Right?
Yeah,
how can you be selfish? How can you?
So, I mean, my experience have been, most of the mothers, initial 2-3 years, they're like, why are you working? And then you're like, okay, the kid has grown up, now you can work. But I'm sorry, the office doesn't work like that, right?
It doesn't work like that.
Yeah, and we are in India. The reality is, if you have a break on your CV, getting another job is utterly difficult.
It is difficult.
Right, so either you continue with it or you say, okay, I'm done. And I mean, it is said that marriage, and then when you have kids, and then when you have menopause, these 3 are the stages when most of the women, they quit workplace.
Yeah.
Because probably the support system that we have is not developed as such.
It is not developed, right? Like my cousins say in the West, and the kind of childcare and facilities that they have for kids, sadly in India we don't have that.
Yeah.
And our biggest problem is we are judged at each and every part.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
If you're working, you are judged. If you are at home, you are judged. Homemakers are judged. part-timers are judged.
Yeah.
Every woman is judged.
So I think we need to stop thinking about
Exactly.
that,
So
and
to
be okay
each-
with whatever we are.
To each their own,
Yeah.
right? What is comfortable for you, you do that, right? Even if a woman quits, that's her choice. We need to respect her choice, right? That's the
You know,
belief
one thing-
system that
Yeah.
she has, and she wants to do the best. So she's not a loser. She's not,
Yeah.
aimless person. But for her, priority is raising kids. So be it.
Yes,
right.
correct.
If you are a working woman, see, gradually kids learn to respect you. They see that what their mother is also doing to run the family, and gradually they do respect you. Also, what matters is the quality and not the quantity. Right?
Correct.
So, if you are not mindfully present when your kid wants to talk to you, when you are not responsive, when your kids are in a problem, that is where you they start having problem. If you are even though if you are a working mother and you are responsive, you are mindfully present with your
With
kid,
them
you are
whenever-
kind of connecting with your kid, spending time with them productively, right?
But how can someone do that given you are involved in so many things, right? So I mean, if say for example it's a working mother, she goes to office, come back, she still has a lot of emails to read, and then you have the kid who's like wants your attention. How do you manage all of it to make sure that you are able to manage the kid and the work?
Honestly, this is also a challenge for me. I am very honest about it, right? Playing too many roles and wanting to be perfect at everything. What really helps is outsourcing. I am figuring out, right? Outsourcing things for a time being, be okay with, not which are the areas that cannot be done properly. कहीं ना कहीं कोई ना कोई एरिया तो छूट ही जाएगा, right? So don't be in that race to be perfect at everything. It's okay, it's okay. I think seeking support is also something. Sometimes that is where most of the couples also have a problem with, that men do not help enough. Right? वो आता है टीवी के सामने बैठता है, फोन देखता है, and this is it. Sometimes, honestly, this has been my experience, my observation with the couples also that I work with, that sometimes I feel that men are not wired to do that. उनको वो naturally सोचता नहीं है
कि करना है
right? They would
Yeah.
many men, they would be okay with the dirty house. उनको नहीं दिखता है. Somewhere I think that they are not wired for it. So maybe you need to ask them or tell them to do it rather than I think getting angry. I think tell them precisely what you want
makes
them
you
to
done.
do.
Yeah.
I think that helps.
Yeah, maybe as a mother of a boy, I would do that with my son. I would tell him that he needs to clean up house as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
And just get them onto that
Yes.
task, right?
Yeah.
So I think we cannot be perfect at everything. Right? See, we are seeing a generation, we belong to a generation where we are overachievers.
Yeah.
Where we are doing everything.
And we want everything.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah, because I mean, there are a lot of women who are very career oriented.
Yes.
Right? And it's not like if you're career oriented, you do not want to have kids. You are career oriented, you want to have kids, but then once you have kid, career does derail a little. I wouldn't say it's the same.
It's the same, yeah.
Yeah, because I think initial 2-3 years it is tough.
It is.
Because you are, dealing with
So,
the new ways of life.
yes. Recently, there was this female who had come. She basically started working very early after her pregnancy, and her health was not doing good. She was tired. It was affecting her relationships, and she was like, I want to quit. I am planning to quit, but I do feel guilty. You know what I told her? I congratulated her for taking that step. I'm like, you're only taking a sabbatical. You are not leaving, you're not
you're taking
quitting.
a break, you're not
taking a break, right? You are becoming body wise, right? I understand career और break से difficulty आती है, but right now you need to take care of yourself because her health was like totally screwed up. So you know, first it's okay, right? It's okay to take rest. It's okay to take a sabbatical. Don't overdo things, right? It's okay. Because what happens that if we don't take care of ourselves during that period, it leads to other problems.
Yeah.
Right? So take care of yourself. Come back to normal, right?
Yeah.
It's okay.
And I think after a point of time, things do get better. It's not like it's always the same.
Everything in life is temporary.
Yes. I mean, even with kids, I think, initial 2-3 years, they are a little challenging.
Yes.
But after that, once they grow up, they go to school.
They do get better.
Yeah.
So it's okay. See, even if you start working immediately after your delivery, it's okay if it works out for you. If you're taking a break of 6 months and start working, it's okay if it works out for you. I want to take a sabbatical of 2 years. This is how I have planned and I have seen. It's okay, right? Basically, I need to listen to my body, the need of my body, right? I need to take care of what I want to do.
नहीं वो एरोप्लेन्स में भी होता है ना, पहले मास्क अपने आप को लगाएं फिर बच्चे को लगाएं. आई थिंक वो वैसा वाला है.
It starts from you. If you are healthy, you are creating an healthy environment. Hence, the kid that is going to come or the kid who is there, they grow up healthy.
And I think you're right in a way that if we are taking care of ourselves, the kid also learn from us that they need to take care of themselves.
Yes.
And I mean, taking care of yourself is not selfish.
It is not selfish.
Yeah, because in fact, if you are not taking care of yourself, you are really overwhelmed.
Yes.
You are not, of course, you are not at your best. You are probably shouting around.
Yes. And we all as mothers, honestly, आप कोई भी हो, आप सबने experience किया है that at times we do get so angry, we do have our mood swings, right? We do shout at them and we end up feeling so guilty, and that's the time we realize that I am not angry at the kid. It is just I am overwhelmed.
Yeah, but I think one thing is what I have noticed with myself, that after the kid I've realized that community is very important.
100%.
Because the kid, you can't take care of kid all the time. It's impossible.
Impossible.
You need other people who are maybe on the similar journey.
Yes.
You need them around so that you can discuss with them. You can be with them.
100%.
And I think that is something that I would say everyone should work on.
Yes.
Because that helps.
Yes. So even if the family is prepared, right, that postpartum would be difficult. आपकी बहू है या बेटी है, कोई भी है, understanding that there would be some act out, there would be some crying, there would be some oversensitive. I think family also needs to be prepared, right? आपको ज़्यादा कुछ करने की ज़रूरत नहीं है, right? Just be empathetic, be a good listener, don't make comments. Right, शायद तेरा दूध कम है, because these are the comments that
I think breastfeeding is something which takes a toll as well.
Yeah, मतलब I had put on a lot of weight after my pregnancy, and this one chap who had come to meet me and he was like, अरे तू तो बहुत मोटी हो गई है. I was like, okay.
And I had the opposite scenario. So I did not put on any weight. So मैं अभी जैसे बिल्कुल ऐसी थी मैं pregnancy के time पे. So I was going to office, people were like, तेरा तो पता ही नहीं चल रहा यार तू pregnant है. And I was very happy. No, I was very happy. I was like, wow, fantastic. मतलब ये तो पता ही नहीं चल रहा है मैं pregnant हूँ और मतलब मैं मोटी नहीं हुई. But in reality that was not a good thing. Because the baby was also not growing inside me. So actually I had a little early delivery. So at the 8th month itself, doctor told me that your baby is not growing any further and you need to go for a emergency C-section. Otherwise, we are not sure whether the baby will survive or not. And my baby, when he was born, he was 2 kgs.
Okay.
Yeah, and of
Yeah,
course in the
that's
first
so
month
difficult.
the first month the weight drops, right?
Yes.
So his weight dropped till like 1.8 kgs.
Oh.
And he was like really, really tiny, and I was so scared. So it's like, we give a lot of importance to weight at that
Yes.
time.
Yes.
कि जैसे मतलब मैं खुश हो गई कि वेट तो नहीं बढ़ रहा है,
नहीं
चलो
बढ़ रहा है।
बहुत ही बढ़िया, ये तो इससे अच्छा कुछ नहीं हो
Yes.
सकता. And you were on the other spectrum wherein the weight
Everybody
increased.
is commenting on the weight.
Yeah. And it takes a lot of time for that to shed as well, right? मतलब 1-1.5-2 साल जाता है उसको.
100%, right? You don't feel normal. Your body doesn't feel normal, right? Especially females who have had C-section, right? It is very painful. It is very, very painful.
And I think इसका कुछ किया नहीं जा सकता. The only thing we can do is कि it's normal. मतलब सबके साथ हो रहा है, ये सिर्फ हमारे साथ नहीं हो रहा है.
वो जो Bambi मूवी है उसमें एक डायलॉग है, आई थिंक फैमिली नीड्स टू learn that dialogue and it should be there in your mind that if you cannot say anything good, do not say anything
bad
at all.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I think because comments लोगों की ऐसे लगती है, especially at that time you're already so hormonal.
Yeah.
Small little comments they
I think that
pierce
comparisons
you.
also it hurts a lot.
Hurts
कि
a lot.
उसका वैसा था, उसके में तो ऐसा नहीं
उसका
हुआ,
बच्चा तो
उसका
रोता ही
बच्चा तो
नहीं
गोरा
था.
हुआ है.
या गोरा काला एंड या तेरा कितना रोता है, ये है, तुम शायद बराबर से दूध नहीं पिलाती, ये नहीं करती, तुम इतना रोगी तो दूध कैसे आएगा. So these comments they really affect the mother. So one, the community has to be really very sensitive about what they are talking. Give them that space, right? Be prepared. Only the mother and father doesn't have to be prepared. I think also, there are a lot of visitors who come to see the mother. I think it should be replaced by service. कि
कुछ कर रहे हैं, वो हेल्प कर रहे हैं.
So I think that is also help. And see,
और एक चीज़ जो मैंने नोटिस की है, मतलब before pregnancy, it's like हम बच्चा संभाल लेंगे. There are a lot of stand-up comedians as well on that who say कि अरे हम बच्चा संभालेंगे, तुम कर लो. And then suddenly, once you have the kid, you realize कहाँ है भाई सब ये,
कोई नहीं है.
Yeah.
You have to do it. But honestly, in our Indian community especially, I have grown up in a joint family, so there were a lot of people doing a lot of things. Right? Mother-in-law है जो ये कर रही है, the father-in-law is taking care of that, my brother is doing something, my auntie is making some dishes for me and sending, right? So
that's a wonderful thing about our community and our culture.
The act of service,
Yes.
it really helps. Somebody is taking the kid away, like I told you, my brother was visiting me.
I think वो तो बहुत help करता है.
He took away the baby for 2-3 hours. And you take rest.
Exactly. हाँ, and that helps. क्योंकि अगर उस टाइम पे कोई समझ जाए ना कि उस टाइम पे मतलब just take the kid for a walk or something for 2 hours, let the mother sleep, let the couple be with themselves.
Exactly.
There's not a bigger gift than that.
Exactly, right. So I think being helpful also helps. So definitely community plays a big role in that.
But PPT, is it do people experience that in their second pregnancies as well, or usually it happens it happens second as well?
It happens.
Okay, because I was
every pregnancy is very different.
Okay, because मुझे लगा कि probably first में you have gone through it, you have seen all the stages, now okay, now we are prepared.
See, what happens is when you are overstimulated, right, when your emotional brain is functioning very powerfully, the analytical brain takes a back seat, right, and hormones affects our moods, you are very emotional, so the logical brain takes a back seat, right, so it happens.
So such parents, women, can they do something to ensure that they are able to manage PPD better?
Yes. So being in touch with your doctor, taking therapy,
also helps. You have to be aware what is happening to you. If you feel that there are some symptoms of depression, you need.
But पता कैसे चलता है मैं depression में क्योंकि if I feel low does not necessarily mean I'm depressed, right?
Right.
मतलब हर low feeling I cannot go to a doctor and say okay doctor I'm feeling depressed.
Right.
So when is the point when I know okay there's something
So
terribly
it's
wrong?
better if you are so confused, check with a therapist. Talk to them. They will be able to evaluate whether it is just sadness or whether it is a bout of depression. And then you can go to the, for the further treatment with the doctors. But talking to a therapist does help. They will help you understand what is happening to you and they will be able to guide you better. So yes, if you have had history of depression earlier, of having bipolar, if you have bipolar, or if there is genetic disposal for it, it's better.
And I mean when we are talking about depression and sadness, so at what point is a sadness classified as depression? So like as a psychologist, when would you say a person is depressed?
Right. So when the person stops taking care, no personal hygiene, stops taking care of herself, there is no personal hygiene, you just feel like sleeping, you are not able to do some basic course, right? You're not able to attend to the child, right? You have persistent crying, right? Persistent negative thoughts, you feel suicidal. That's the time you need to understand that it's just not sadness, but something more or less depression.
And does EBT also have an impact on the kind of attachment you have with your kid?
Yes. Right. So, what is the kind of attachment do you want to have with your kids?
I mean, the one in which we can relate to each other. I can give my love, I can receive love.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right? You know what? The kind of attachment that a child develops with the primary caregivers determines what kind of relationships he or she will have later on in their lives. Right? The kind of attachment that we spoke about is the secure attachment, where we are able to respond to each other, where the baby is secured that my needs are taken care of. I have
and when you say
trust.
needs, it is only physiological needs or
So babies, of course, they first seek for physiological needs, right? They don't have emotions at that time. They are oral needs, right? They are need of hunger. They are need to be touched, to be pacified. It starts physically, right? And then after they start understanding emotions, right? So what I'm saying is the kind of attachment that the child develops right after the time it was born with the primary caregiver, it will affect the kind of relationships he will have later on in his life, be it friendships, be it love relationships, be it colleagues. So we have different kinds of attachment, insecure attachment, right? Where there are a lot of trust issues, right? Avoidant attachment, where the person is scared to get committed, right? They avoid close relationships. So there are various kinds of attachment. If the attachment between the caregiver, primary caregiver, and the child is secure, it will ensure that he or she will have healthy relationships in the future. Because that is how they see relationships, right? So many mothers, they feel the guilt that, it happens at times that females are unable to lactate, right? And they have to give formula feeds to the baby.
I've done that.
And at times, the baby is not able to latch.
Yes.
Right? Happens if the baby is premature, right? So you have to depend on formula feeds, right? So, the kind of guilt that the mother has with my baby, be attached to me. So females need to understand Yes, definitely, right? Feeding helps you attach with the baby, but what helps in creating more attachment is how responsive you are to your babies. So there was an experiment done, right? So there was a baby monkey who was kept in a cage, and there was this one wire monkey, and there was this one wire monkey covered with, that wire monkey covered with terry cloth, which makes you feel very comfortable and warm. Now the wire monkey had a bottle of milk, right? And the other monkey had like warm. It made the baby feel comfortable. So what was observed, when the baby was hungry, he would go to the wire monkey, take its feed. But most of the time, it would stay close to the terry monkey, right? Which gave him that warmth, right? So babies are not only attached because of the feed that you are able to give, but how much you are responding, how much of the warmth you are providing, right? If the baby is crying and I just leave the baby, I'm not responding, right? That affects.
पर काफी लोगों में ऐसा भी कहते हैं ना, बच्चा रो रहा है तो रोने दो, नहीं तो उसको आदत हो
जाएगी
कि तुम तुरंत भाग कर आते हो।
तो वही तो वहीं से हमारी शुरुआत होती है ना, इमोशंस आर बैड, expression is bad, right? Hence it leads to different kind of attachments which are not healthy. I don't have that trust कि मैं रहूँगा ना तो कोई मुझे बचाने आएगा. And that is how I start seeing relationships, and that forms the basic, that's the basic structure of the relationship.
And when you say primary caretaker, is it always the mother?
It's also the father. See, it starts with the mother, then it's also the father. By 6 months, the kid also starts. देखो तब तक बच्चा पूरा ही माँ पे डिपेंडेंट होता है for mother's milk, right? After that, after 6 months, the baby starts understanding the other relationships as well. Baby gets attached to the other figures as well, right? So it doesn't mean कि मतलब, see, if I am a mother and I am staying with the grandmother, right? But if the grandmother is equally taking care of the baby, then she is also the primary caretaker. Because its needs are also catered by.
So I mean, if the woman herself is going through PPD, other people can contribute.
Exactly, they need to step up. Right, they need to step up because at that time the mother is not capable. It doesn't mean the only mother has to do it.
Yeah, and from there, I mean, I think we go back to the role of community, your close relationships, and bringing up the child. Yeah, because I think, like you said, in PPD, it's not only the mother, then you have your other people around who need to be sensitive enough about the situation and need to start contributing more.
Because the baby understands what is more important for the baby is to be taken care of, right? To develop that trust that if I am in pain, there is someone on whom I can depend. Right? So be it's a mother, anyone, that's okay. But the babies need to have a primary care. See, the kids who have been brought up in orphanages, right? It's not their fault. But they do have a lot of problems in understanding emotions and attachments.
Yeah.
Because they don't know what it is to be attached. So I'm not generalizing, I'm saying
most of the cases. Yeah.
They do have difficulty in understanding emotions.
And given, I mean, we have discussed about such a, I would say, heavy topic wherein we said that after delivery, a lot of women do go through PPD. I mean, isn't it better to not have kids? Because a lot of people might have this question, right? Why go through so much of
We are a generation of quick fixes.
Yeah. So I mean, it's just better. बच्चे करो ही मत. जब इतना ही problem है, तुम्हारा career पीछे चला जाएगा.
See, I think you should do what is important. right? If you feel that you're not ready for a kid, you're not ready. Don't have it. So, right? Not everybody is going to understand you.
Yeah.
आप कुछ भी करोगे, there would be 10 people, 5 out of 10 people who would always say that what you're doing is wrong. But I guess you need to do what you feel is right. You're not prepared for baby.
You're not
do not do it. Career is more important. You don't see baby in the picture. Do not do it. It's okay. Right now you don't feel like having baby. It's not a force. Right? Everybody sees their life very differently. Everybody's goals in life are very different. Right? So it's better not to be forced into it and not be available. Rather, do when you feel is right, when the time is right, do it when you are ready for it. And if you're not ready for it, it's okay not to plan.
Yeah. Yeah, because I think kid is like at least 20-year project. You really need to be there. I mean, it might sound like project, but not really. I mean, you need to be available for the kid, because if you're not available, I'm sorry, the kind of kid that you're bringing to the world, yeah, I mean, it doesn't make sense, right? You need to be available for your baby. Yeah, to look for their emotional needs.
See, the human race is not in danger right now. हम लोग को इरादा मारा रहा है, वो bring kids की मंच को आगे बढ़ाया है. It's okay. Right? It's a big responsibility, financially, emotionally, physically, mentally.
Yeah.
Do it when you are ready for it.
When you plan for it.
Exactly.
Makes sense.
And many people prefer not to have. That's their choice. We need to respect that. They look at their life very differently. What you and I have. So we need to respect that. That's okay.
Yeah. I think we have covered a lot in this podcast, and a lot of things were eye-opener for me, and I hope that's eye-opener for our viewers as well. Thank you so much, Kuntal, for giving us your time and so much of valuable information. We hope आपको आज का पॉडकास्ट अच्छा लगा हो, रेलेवेंट लगा हो. अगर लगा है तो लाइक कीजिए, कमेंट कीजिए, शेयर कीजिए अपने लव्ड वन से जिनको इसकी ज़रूरत है. अगर आपके पास कोई टॉपिक्स है जो आप चाहते हैं हम डिस्कस करें पॉडकास्ट पे, प्लीज़ email us at happierhour.sg@gmail.com. We'll try our best to cover it. Of course, we'll keep it anonymous. Thank you.